Welcome to the DOGE Diaries. Diving deep into government efficiency. I'm excited to unpack these latest developments, especially seeing how this whole government efficiency thing is playing out in different states. It feels like the beginning of a real shift.
Yeah, government efficiency is the buzzword, but I'm looking at it from a different angle. What does it actually mean for people? I keep seeing headlines, but I'm not seeing how it's going to put more money in my pocket or make my life easier. This new Trump initiative of cutting costs might be a good thing or a bad thing. Hard to tell.
Exactly, Otto. That's my concern too. It sounds great in theory, but these kinds of sweeping changes, they often have unintended consequences. I mean, the article mentions states already having efficiency panels. Are these new DOGE initiatives just reinventing the wheel? Or are they actually improving on existing systems? I'm curious.
Well, I think it's more than just reinventing the wheel. It's about a fundamental shift in mindset. Think of Elon's approach, taking a company like Twitter and shaking it up, forcing efficiency through radical change. Maybe the government needs that same kind of jolt. The Iowa governor saying we were doing DOGE before DOGE was a thing. That tells you something. States are feeling the pressure to innovate.
Pressure from where? Pressure from Trump and Elon, maybe. But are they listening to the people? This article mentions Iowa Democrats worried about the governor handing power to campaign donors for this DOGE initiative. That sounds like the same old politics to me, just with a new label.
And it's not just Iowa. The article highlights how easily misinformation can fuel distrust in government. This claim about $50 million for Gaza condoms, ludicrous, but it gets people fired up, and that's dangerous. We need evidence-based decision-making, not knee-jerk reactions based on viral claims, even if this is a big movement.
Right. But even if that specific claim is false, the perception of waste is real. People feel like their tax dollars are being mismanaged. And that's where DOGE, even with its, let's say, unconventional approach, can be valuable. If it can uncover and eliminate genuine waste, that frees up resources for innovative programs, green tech, sustainable infrastructure, things that actually improve people's lives.
Okay, but show me the money. I'm paying property taxes out the wazoo here. If DOGE cuts spending in my town, is that going to mean my streets aren't plowed in the winter? Are they going to get rid of police patrols? I need to see how it impacts everyday stuff, not just some abstract number on a budget spreadsheet. Are taxpayers going to be affected by these cuts?
And that's a valid concern, Otto. That Volcker Alliance advisor is right. One person's waste is another person's vital service. Cutting tax breaks for businesses might seem like a good way to save money. But what if those breaks were incentivizing them to invest in renewable energy or create green jobs? It's a balancing act, and I don't see DOGE approaching it with the necessary nuance.
But that's the point. DOGE forces the conversation. It challenges the status quo. It makes people ask, are these programs really effective? And if they're not, then yeah, maybe they should be cut. That money could be redirected to, say, building a smart grid powered by solar and wind, creating thousands of jobs in the process. Think about the potential for a green tech boom fueled by government efficiency.
A green tech boom? That sounds nice, but who benefits? Are those jobs going to pay a living wage? Are they going to be located in places where ordinary people can actually get to them? Or are they just going to be another way for rich people to get richer while the rest of us struggle with higher electricity bills?
And how do we ensure transparency in all of this? The Elon Musk and DOGE are hacking the government headline is alarming. This idea of giving an unelected billionaire access to sensitive data, it sets a dangerous precedent. Our system of checks and balances is there for a reason.
But Sarah, think about the potential for disruption. The article mentions Musk wanting to slash or overhaul the Government Accountability Office and the Education Department. These are institutions often mired in bureaucracy. If DOGE can streamline those processes, make them more responsive to the needs of the people, that's a huge win. And if we streamline those departments, the funds that were used on unnecessary labor could be used to provide for society, to help it grow and thrive.
Easy for you to say, but I'm worried about those federal employees being offered buyouts. What happens to their families? What happens to the services they were providing? It feels like we're sacrificing ordinary people on the altar of efficiency.
Exactly, Otto. And Schumer's right to call it a shadow government. This is a serious concern. This isn't some tech startup. It's the US government. It needs to be accountable to the people, not to the whims of a single billionaire with ties to China.
Okay, but even the article acknowledges that Trump has pledged the White House will closely oversee Musk's activity. And think about the potential for innovation. Imagine a Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, that's actually effective, that uses technology to identify and eliminate waste in real time. It could be a blueprint for the future of governance, a world where we all benefit.
A blueprint for the future? Sounds like pie in the sky to me. I want to see tangible results now. I want to see my taxes go down, my schools get better, and my community thrive. I'm not convinced these changes are going to deliver that, even if Trump and Elon are pushing them.
And what about the FBI being asked to hand over information on agents involved in January 6 cases? That smacks of political interference, and it undermines the rule of law. This isn't about efficiency, it's about consolidating power.
But maybe that consolidation of power is necessary to break through the gridlock, to actually get things done. Look, the article mentions that Musk is sleeping at DOGE's offices, working unconventional hours. He's clearly committed to this vision. And while his methods might be disruptive, his goal, a more efficient, responsive government, is something we can all get behind. Perhaps he could do a better job with transparency so we can all get behind it.
Committed to his vision or committed to lining his own pockets? I'm not saying he is, but we need to be skeptical. These guys always say they're doing it for the good of the people, but usually it's just for themselves.
And his conflicts of interest are huge. He's the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, for crying out loud. How can he objectively assess government programs when his own companies might benefit from the changes he's recommending?
Okay, but maybe those conflicts of interest can actually drive innovation. If Tesla benefits from government investments in electric vehicle infrastructure, that creates jobs and reduces our reliance on fossil fuels. It's a win-win.
A win-win for Tesla shareholders, maybe. What about the people who can't afford a Tesla? Are they just going to be left behind in this green future?
And let's not forget the international implications. This USAID situation is a mess. Rubio becoming the acting administrator and basically dismantling the agency. That's a huge blow to US soft power and our ability to address global challenges like poverty and disease.
But maybe USAID needs to be reformed. Maybe it's been inefficient and ineffective for too long. Perhaps redirecting those resources to, I don't know, a global initiative to develop and deploy clean energy technologies in developing countries. That would be a real game changer.
Okay, but who's in charge of this global initiative? Is it just going to be another way for rich countries to exploit poor countries? I need to see some real commitment to fairness and equity before I get on board with any of this.
And what about the employees who are losing their jobs at USAID? The article says they're removing photos of aid work from the walls. It's like they're trying to erase the agency's history. That's not just inefficient, it's callous.
Okay, but sometimes you have to break things down to build them back better. Think of it like a controlled demolition. Yes, it's disruptive in the short term, but it clears the way for something new and improved. And maybe that new thing will be a more efficient, effective, and yes, even more compassionate approach to foreign aid.
A more compassionate approach run by Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I'll believe it when I see it. I still think there needs to be public consensus, but I guess with this hacking approach, we'll see if that's even a thing of the past.
I think this push for government efficiency is a dangerous oversimplification of complex problems, even if a lot of money is to be saved. Our system isn't perfect, but it's designed to protect against these kinds of radical unchecked power grabs. We should be wary of anyone who promises quick fixes and easy solutions, especially when they come with a side of secrecy and misinformation.
But isn't that where innovation comes from? Challenging the status quo and thinking outside the box. It's not that what Musk is doing is a cure-all, but a visionary look to the future. I mean, the idea of a Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, with an actual impact could show other countries how to be efficient as well.
Well, all I can say is, I hope the future leaves room for regular people like me. I want that future to be affordable and fair. We need to think realistically and see how we can all survive together.
Yes, and it should respect the constitutional guidelines of American democracy.
Right, well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see how this all unfolds. It is interesting that there have been DOGE-inspired policies. Maybe the US system will adapt.